Yo guys, welcome back to another video, and yeah, it's pretty much the trade strat. And as you can see, we did get like 266 billion. And in terms of what we're using, this is the team we're running. We've got 6 One Piece units, and the last unit, don't worry about it. You guys can replace it with so many units. You can either bring Zoro, you can either bring Sanji, you can either bring who else is there? I'm blanking. I forgot that guy's name. But you can also bring Griffith, you can bring Ace. There's just so many variants. There's a lot of variants in this game, mate. So yeah, just so many options. Just look for your options, pick whichever monarchs you have and just bring them. But essentially these four are pretty vital. Shanks is a free monarch, and these two, you run them with marksman and you'll see why. The way I use law in this significantly increases my score, so it's very important. And yeah, Luffy just Luffy, flipping 120 range, just hitting basically full map. And yeah, we got Smith for the food. So yeah, let me just run through my familiars real quick. So as you can see, we've got okay, this one on Shanks here. You pretty much crit chances are relevant on him. It's not really irrelevant, but it's not like as necessary. So you can run you just need damage, range, and crit damage for Shanks. Doflamingo, I just gave this one. I don't really care. Just something decent, nothing crazy. And then for Luffy, I gave my best burb, so just give your best burb to Luffy. Or give it to Luffy or Shanks. Shanks actually does more damage than Luffy in the run, which is crazy, so just up to you, mate. And then you got Law, I gave a range burb, so 25.6% range. And then for Whitebeard, I gave him Doctor with, of course, 16.4 range, plus it has a C1, so it lets Whitebeard apply Nullify. And for, Thingy, what's the name? Smith, we are running a fuse, so as you can see, 12.7%, and yeah, that's it for the team. So let's just get right into this. Alright, so pretty much in terms of what we're doing early game wise, we're going to be getting Law down and using the room 3 because it allows us to apply 1 to any enemy that enters the room. So I do have VFX on, you guys can turn it off if you want to. But the only reason I have VFX on is so I can see where the room is getting placed. And that's very important for room 1 when I use it later. You'll see what I mean. But you can turn off the VFX off manually on the actual placement. On the unit UI, if you just click the fire symbol, and you can still see the room even when you turn that off, so it's fine. But yeah, I just had the VFX on for a bit, because, why not? But yeah, next up you place Shanks. You want to make sure he's hitting pretty much this whole part. Just be wary of your range. And yeah, that's pretty much it. And yeah, your main carry is pretty much Shanks and Luffy. Those are the ones that are doing the most damage. Doflamingo, he's just here for shits and giggles, mate. You can use Ace, Ace, Sanji, Zoro, or even anyone else, mate. There's so many units you can use. There's legit a multitude of units you can use. You can use Griffith as well if you want, but don't think you guys want to deal with the RNG of that. You can see Luffy gets placed right here. Probably could have placed him a bit further back, but it's fine. Same to auto ability. Place 2 white bids, so 1 here set the closest, and 1 in the middle set the closest as well. This is just so you slow multiple enemies. And you're turning these other units VFX off. And now you're just going to be upgrading Shanks. But giving of course, the sword to them, so just give that to him. Give damage to Luffy as well. Give range to this Law. So you can at least apply Rupture to them very early on. And you just keep upgrading. You're gonna do 1 upgrade into Luffy first, and then 1 upgrade into the remaining upgrades into Shanks, because it allows them to get that short discount from, of course, Parrot. You know how Parrot allies get discounts, that thing. You could go for Luffy first, but Shanks just does an absurd amount of DPS, so that's why we're opting out for Shanks first. Even though his range and AoE types are not really the best from his early upgrades, he still is very crazy now. Very early on, he's still crazy. He reaches some absurd DPS numbers once maxed. He's probably top 1 units, man. He's actually number 1 in this game. That's how good Shanks is, yeah, you know. But yeah, you can see even with this boss spawning, you should be having 2 white bids stunning him and slowing him instantly. And yeah, once the boss enters range, after you apply stun to him, you can just hold the lockout or hold the auto ability. And of course set your Shanks to bosses so you can deal with this boss. And make sure you are slowing him with white bid efficiently as well. I placed slow by accident, which was my mistake. But yeah, I was placed white bid and flipping missed out on the slow, so that was on me. Did manage to get this. I missed ability as well, so I missed out a bit of damage. And now you're trying to follow this guy with, of course, white bid. And give the white bid range. And then here, you're gonna make sure you stop auto upgrading if you have your Shanks on auto upgrade. And you wanna prioritize getting a law placed down. You'll see this law over here. Right here, make sure it's closer to the path on the left than the path on the right. And you'll see why. So you just pour some upgrades into him. He's pretty cheap, so it helps a lot. So you pour upgrades into him. Give him the extra range from the Smith buff. And once you do that, I'm sure you guys have an idea what I'm going to do. And this is the whole reason why my score can be so high. That's why I said to get marksman law. It's very important. You'll see why. So you use zone 1 and you can see where zone 1 is placed. And as you can see, it covers this little bend. So any enemies that are in this zone 1 and they get hit by law, they're getting pulled back to the front to where law is facing right now. So, you know, it's kind of nuts. And that's why you get so much. You can get so much extra damage because you're making the enemies do a full loop again. And look, he went from there to the front, see? And then once the boss is pulled back, you just set him back. You set Law back to zone 2. And yeah, once you get Shanks to, of course, this half of your max upgrade, you can set him to closest. And you'll see how much yen you start getting because Shanks just destroys everyone. And now you can start auto upgrading this Luffy. And yeah, the rest of your yen is going into this Luffy. And if there are a lot of enemies at this point, you just set Law back to number 1, zone 1. And yeah, you can see how much yen is pouring in, you know. We got Shanks to pretty much, this boss can die as well, so Luffy's gonna kill this boss off. And yeah, once Luffy does get to full AoE, all these enemies are just gonna get flipping slimed. And yeah, just turn simplified health bars on because there's 500 and flip. There's like 600 enemies, you know. So yeah, you only give the Dragon Slayer to Shanks, the 20% range to Luffy, so it does allow you to place Luffy a bit further down if you want to. And then you want to place Law to Zone 1 and Zone 2, so switch between Zone 2 and Zone 1. And the reason for this is, I don't know why AV has it, but if you upgrade Law, his room range does not increase. It stays the same until you turn it off and turn it back on. Then you get White Bit off over here to upgrade. Can't remember what upgrade that was, but before his next move was upgrade, I can't remember, but you don't want to max him out. Just keep all your White Bits at full AoE, give them the Smith buff, so they can have extra range. And then now we're getting Doflamingo here. His DPS is not too bad, you know. It's like 500k DPS, I'm pretty sure, at certain points. He's not the worst, but he's not the best, you know. But yeah, since I do have a Monarch, I do want to get a bit of use out of him, so that's the reason why I opted out for this. In terms of using him. But yeah, once you use String Dominion, that's where most of his DPS comes from. Once those tentacles are placed down. And the issue with this map is, there's like one tentacle near this board below me. There's one tentacle at the bottom at the top, and then the 5 tentacles at the back. It's just so stupid. Don't know why it spaces it out like that. And then I put the room on this one, room 1. I think I already pulled this boss, so it wasn't getting pulled over. Or I probably just did not attack. But Luffy does clear this, so it's fine. So just slow it with White Bid if you do struggle. And yeah, this boss should just be getting cleared as well. Luffy has enough range to kill it off. And then yeah, pretty much you just set his auto ability on. Like when there's like 10 seconds on Shank's ability left. I do it around 8 seconds, but even 10 seconds works. Eventually it's just gonna overtake because Dolphy's animation takes a bit longer to pop his stun. And now you just want to give the remaining, or give him the SPA one, Sword of Actuation. And you want to stay on Zone 2 for Law, unless, of course, you're switching over to Zone 1. And yeah, you can see Shanks' DPS is so stupid, mate. He is like 800k DPS average and then 1 million here and there. It's just nuts. It's pretty much 1 million DPS. So that's why you're seeing this boss take so much damage. And there is no way to kill it. Well, as I'm aware of, there's no way to kill it because you have no summons. Because, what was it again? There's absorption, so you just regain the HP. Wonder View is pretty chuddy, IMO, you know, in my opinion. I mean, with the amount of CC we have, I guess Wonder View could be used, but he won't be enough to kill the boss, so you die the boss regardless. Uma is banned, so can't bring Uma. Who else is there? Yeah, there's not many other options, you know. So yeah, not much I can say. Yeah, upgrade 10 for White, but is the upgrade. You see 557k DPS. It's not actually not too bad, you know, but I don't think his DPS is that consistent though. I just get one more low here just for that extra damage. It's not that much, but it's just a bit more. Might as well just get another unit down, you know, why not? And you're gonna be allocating your buffs as well, so all of your laws get damage except for the one that's pulling. So the one that's next to Luffy gets range. Luffy gets range as well. Shanks gets Dragon Slayer. Dolphy gets Sword of Actuation. And all the white bits get 20% range. And you see, when there's a lot of enemies, like pretty much at this point, you just want to switch to zone 1, and then the lord that's at the front, you can switch to zone 2. So you have all 3 zones up, and you just have this lord pulling as many enemies as possible. And you can see this boss here, the brook over here. Watch him get yeeted from this point to, of course, the back. So it's just so perfect. Lord just kidnaps these units, or these enemies. So basically just added so much extra time. See that? The boss got pulled over there, and the boss has to travel all that distance again to get here. And yeah, pretty much you want Lord just to keep doing this. And yeah, you can see Shanks' DPS is just stupid, mate. He does end up with more damage than my Luffy. I think Shanks at the end of the run had 104 billion damage. Luffy had 83, and then Doflamingo had 50 billion. So you can see in terms of like damage breakdowns, Shanks had the most, and then of course Luffy. Doflamingo wasn't too far behind Luffy, considering I upgrade Doflamingo later than Luffy. Plus Luffy has 120 range, so you know Doflamingo ain't the worst, but he's not really the best. You know what I mean? Yeah, at this point, once there's this many leaks, you wanna be replacing your what's the name again? I forgot, mate. But yeah, you wanna be moving your white bit back to the back, or to the very back, and give him the 20% range. And once wave 47 hits, we turn auto skip off. So click. I use this ability because I don't know. Someone told me that it repulses as well, so I was hoping these enemies would get repulsed, but clearly they did not. So I just switched them back to full AOE. Fully voice cracks, mate. But yeah, auto skip off, and I just switched them back to full AOE. Sign and replace, full AOE, and before I die, I just make sure I click yes, the yes button. So just time it, and that's all you do, mate. And you can see you got me to 266 billion, and yeah, that's it for the strat. Like, subscribe, and yeah, see you in the next one. Peace.